Hey, right, so you can't see me just now, we're adjusting our camera, but let me tell you, as I walk in the frame, there was quite a frenzy right here where I'm standing. The council president said that they had to recess, but she didn't say why, and then we saw councilors abruptly going upstairs to the mayor's office. We also saw the police chief, and you can see actually right now some councilors are starting to file in. We're hoping to get some answers. I was told by security that at 3:40 they'd reconvene, and we've been trying to ask them as we've seen them come out of their various chambers what happened, but they've been tight-lipped. It sounds like they're waiting to make an announcement. We also, like I said, we saw that chief of police, and we're seeing more councilors step in right now. You can see that they're about to walk in, and we're going to monitor what happens. But in short, we saw something abrupt. We saw people rushing upstairs to the mayor's office. No one came out, and now they're about to reconvene. We'll be tracking this, and I'll send it back to you guys for now. Okay.
I can't tell if that's the mayor's office on the third floor. It looks like that might be. Thunby told us earlier that some of those protesters had made their way up to the mayor's office before any of this news got out. As I said, they were trying to get him to take a more forceful stance against ICE. You can see them talking there.
Yeah, several demonstrators with holding signs and looking a little concerned or agitated at this moment.
Let's dip back into city council chambers and see if any more city councilors are filtering in. If you are just now joining us, local and federal sources tell ABC News that federal agents shot 2 people here in Portland a short time ago, possibly around 2:30. Circumstances are unclear, but the FBI is responding. They are investigating. We're told the agents who shot these individuals are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, not ICE. Once again, FBI will be investigating that. We're expecting a statement from the FBI soon, as well as statements from our local leaders here as soon as City Council gets back.
We have multiple crews out on in the field right now, several at a couple of different area hospitals, as well as the potential scene of where this took place, Southeast Portland. Let's turn now to Christina Giardinelli right now, and I believe you're in Southeast Portland, Christina.
Yeah, Deb, we just got here just in time to talk to a couple people here at the scene. There are still multiple police vehicles. I'm going to step aside so you can get an idea of what's going on. Lots of neighbors still standing around. A lot of people hearing what you just heard reported now, that breaking news just coming in. We just got here to the scene. Multiple police vehicles. You can see a lot of neighbors standing around and watching. I talked to a couple people who say they did see the 2 injured people drive up and get out of a car. They say they believe that those people may be related to someone in this area. It's still unclear. That information unconfirmed, but that's what I'm hearing from just some of the neighbors here on the ground, that they saw those people get out of their car, were injured. Lots of people saying they saw, medical ambulances coming this way, multiple different police vehicles flying down Burnside, getting up here, and you can still see that presence here. We're looking to get more information for you at this time on this breaking news event, but right now just a lot of neighbors standing around like us, trying to figure out exactly what happened here, the sequence of events, where it started. It does appear that this was the point where it kind of concluded, but we're trying to figure out exactly where this started still. We'll continue following up here and trying to get you the latest information on what's going on as we follow this breaking news scene. For now, back to you guys. We'll see you shortly.
Hey, Christina, can you just tell us exactly where you are in relation to what's that behind you? Is the road closed?
Yes, so the caution tape here you're seeing, we are on 146 and Burnside. That caution tape covering about 1 block here that I can see at the end of. That, of course, is just on this side of Burns Street. There is still, I believe that is what, eastbound, Brian, traffic going?
Christine, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're going to go. I apologize
closed.
for interrupting, but we're going to go right now to Portland City Council as they're adjourning.
An incident that occurred in the eastern part of our city, just a day after the shooting in Minneapolis of Renee Good. There was a shooting involving 2 Portlanders in East Portland with federal agents. We are still waiting for more details, but needed to pull counselors to get a briefing and an update so that we could ensure that we were prepared to respond. I'm sorry to be delivering this news today. We are all holding both Ms. Good's family and the families of these Portlanders. As we sit here, as far as we know, both of these individuals are still alive, and we are hoping for more positive updates through the afternoon. Colleagues, we recessed in the middle of answers from 2 of our colleagues to a question that was posed, I believe, by Councillor Green. Councillor Novick, I cut you off at the end of your response. Did you have anything further you wanted to add?
I did not.
Okay.
Point of order. Or I
Councillor,
guess I have a question. I don't know.
a point of order will get us there. Let us know what you need.
I just feel like we have to go address what just happened. But I know that the charter requires us to have this election today, and I don't want to unduly delay anything, but it feels really weird to continue this meeting and this vote when something so serious has happened.
I would look to Attorney Robert Taylor. I do believe that he has an interpretation that would allow us to end our meeting today and pick up this topic on another day if we wish to move in that direction. Mr. Taylor?
Thank you. The charter does require the council to elect a president or vice president at their first meeting. Today is a continuation of the first meeting that began yesterday. If council adjourns this meeting without electing a president, the council would not have completed the obligation required by the charter. The president and vice president seats would be vacant. However, council has provided in the code, if there is a vacancy in those offices, the presiding officer is the president who last held this position. So we could just operate under that charter or under that code provision, adjourn this meeting today, come back next week, and take up this issue of the election on the 14th.
Point of information, can we not recess again?
You could recess, if we wanted to come back tomorrow, you could do that. If you just wanted to take it up at the next scheduled meeting, you would need to adjourn this meeting and come back at the next scheduled one. So you do have options there.
Robert, so that I am making sure that everybody understands what you're suggesting, we could recess this meeting to any time between now and the next scheduled meeting. We could also adjourn this meeting, and in essence, because the code calls for the previous presiding officer to fill the role of president and presumably vice presidential duties to be held by the previous vice president, or in the case of fulfilling the duty of the absence of a president, the next person in line is the former vice president. We would just continue with our current leadership structure until that meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. Councilors, I saw heads nodding at different points there and shaking at other points, and I didn't see some clear agreement. I did check with our D1 colleagues about reconvening, but if that's not...
Keep going.
Okay. I'm also hearing from Councilor Murillo, however, that she'd like us to have a bit of a break here.
I'm okay with taking the lead of the District 1 councilors. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor. And Counselor, I just want to acknowledge the greater impact on your family and your community from actions like this. And I'm sorry that we are trying to uphold normal orders of business. Counselor Novick, I believe you said that you were complete in your response.
Thank you,
Councilor
Council President. I believe the question was, how do I feel about oversight and the duties as it relates to the charter? I do support the charter
with their
and
duties in the
support
City Hall right now at this
oversight
moment. We do want to go to K2's Jennifer Singh, who's back out in Southeast Portland, where there's a very active scene. This is about 146th and Burnside. Jen?
Yeah, Deb, right now I'm at 148th in Burnside. You can see this is the end of where the road is blocked off. We were just told that it's been blocked off from 145th and to 148th here. Now, we just learned that this is not where the apparent shooting happened. This is where we're told a male and a female who had reported been shot had been found. Now, this happened at 2:24 when they received information that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting for help in this area. This is according to Portland police. Now, 2 people are in the hospital, conditions unknown, but officers since have determined that the 2 people were injured in the shooting were federal agents. Now, you can see the scene down here. Like you heard from my colleagues, we are still unsure on a lot of specifics at this time, and we will be on scene trying to learn more. Now, we also did just learn that this apparent shooting happened on the 10,200 block of Southeast Main Street. So this is actually a little bit ways away, but this is where, again, we were told the 2 had been reportedly found and calling for help. You can see several Portland police units are still on scene. Again, this is 148th in Burnside, blocked off westbound lanes all the way to 145th. And once again, we are still waiting on a lot of information. We will stay on scene and give you as many updates as we can in the time coming. Now, for now, I'll pass it back to you, Deb.
So, Jen, just to reiterate, this scene where you are is not where the shooting took place. Did the 2 people drive to that location?
We are still unsure, so let me read what we're told at this time. It says at 2:24, officers received information that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting help in this area, and officers responded, found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds, and apparently officers on scene worked to give them medical treatment before they were transported to hospitals. Again, we are still unsure what the conditions of those 2 involved are at the moment.
All right, Jennifer Singh, thank you for that. That press release we just got from Portland Police Bureau says the shooting happened around 102nd in Southeast Main, a pretty sizable distance from where Jen and Christina are at 146th and Burnside. Those 2 people were shot by CBP officers. That is according to ABC News, citing local and federal sources.
We want to go back out to the scene where Christina Giardinelli is joining us live.
Yeah, Deb, for some reference, I'm just about a block westbound of where Jen is that you just heard from. I did talk to a neighbor who said they saw those 2 individuals drive up in a car. Now, of course, that is unconfirmed by that press release that Wright just mentioned from Portland Police Bureau. But neighbors here did say they saw those 2 individuals drive up in a car. Hopefully, they are doing okay at this time. They said, you know, from the looks of it, at least they were able to drive themselves here. And then police met them here in this neighborhood. Allegedly, from what the neighbor said, they may have some family, some connection here, and that is why they came here with their car from where that scene happened, from when the shooting happened. And of course, just very recently getting that information confirmed from the Portland Police Bureau that that scene happened in the address Wright provided you a little ways away from here, the shooting from 2 federal officers. There have been neighbors here just discussing this as we got here. A lot of people quite upset. And of course, Portland Police Bureau urging calm. We'll come back to you guys, and we'll be here waiting and getting as much information as we can in the meantime.
Okay, Christina, thank you. The FBI has just released a tweet saying FBI Portland is investigating an agent-involved shooting that happened at approximately 2:15 near the 10,000 block of Main Street in Portland, involving Customs and Border Patrol agents, in which 2 individuals were wounded. This remains an active and ongoing investigation led by the FBI. Follow this thread for updates regarding the matter.
And as you can see with Christina and Jen, Portland police have that scene locked down at 146th and Burnside. They tell us they also have officers at that original shooting scene near 100th and Southeast Main. The police chief, Bob Day, has released a statement saying we are still in the early stages of this incident. We understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling in the wake of the shooting in Minneapolis, but I am asking the community to remain calm as we work to learn more. You are taking a live look once again at that scene near 146th and Burnside. Jennifer Singh is there.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, again, we are at 148th and Burnside, again, the tail end of where the scene is closed off. I'll let you take another look. Again, this is closed off between 145th and 148th on East Burnside. The westbound lane, is closed off. And just to reiterate, this is not where we're told the shooting happened. This is where we're told the two people who were reportedly injured were found. Again, according to Portland police, just before 2:30, officers received information that a man had been calling for help in this area, and they responded, found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds. Again, police and officers on scene worked to give people medical aid during this incident before they were transferred to area hospitals. Again, their conditions right now are still unknown. And as you can tell, this is right at one of TriMet's MAX trains. That train is still running, as we have been seeing while we're out here. But again, we are still waiting on more information. Traffic is slow moving in all directions besides the closed lane. But again, neighbors here are urged to use caution in the area. So we will be sticking out here, of course, getting more information. Most of the neighbors are on the other side of where this is all blocked off, but this gives us a big view of what's going on here. Now, again, Deb and Wright, I will let you guys know that we still, again, do not have much information at this time. The FBI are investigating, and we'll be sure to keeping on top of things and letting you know as soon as we get any updates. But for now, I'll toss it back to you.
Okay, Jen, thank you.
All right, if you're just now joining us, we are reporting on a very active investigation right now. Federal agents have shot two people. This is a map from the Portland Police Bureau, and you can see the city of Portland in that upper left corner, and that small highlighted box is showing you what's zoomed out. All of this is east of 205. That red bubble on the left side of your screen is where this shooting took place at Southeast 102nd and Southeast Main. That other bullet, red dot on the right side is 146th and Burnside, where Jen and Christina are. That is where those two people who were shot called for help, and that's the scene you were seeing earlier with Christina and Jen. We are going to try to get some people to that original shooting scene. Portland police have that scene locked down as well.
We want to go back to Christina Giardinelli. Christina?
Yeah, I've just been out here talking to neighbors, trying to figure out, piece together exactly what happened. I'm hearing from other people as well that say that the two individuals who were wounded got here in a car. So this seems to be something that multiple alleged eyewitnesses are confirming at this point. But again, that is unconfirmed information from the Portland Police Bureau. We're just working to get all the accounts together at this point, find out if anyone here at this scene knew who they were, knows what their condition is right now. That's something that we're really looking into at this point. Find out how they're doing, as we have heard that they've been transported to the hospital at this point. So we're just doing our due diligence, trying to check in with the Portland Police Bureau, who hopefully will give us a little bit more answers here soon, as well as looking into the condition of these two individuals who came here wounded already. We're hearing multiple accounts again that they may have arrived here in a car coming westbound this direction and coming over here to where the houses are. So we're just going to be looking into that and trying to find out here if anyone knows them and knows what the situation is. So we'll continue working on that and bring you the latest as soon as we have it. For now, back to you guys.
Okay, Christina, thank you. We just found out word that Portland City Hall, our Tanvi Verma is there right now. There are demonstrators actually at City Hall at this moment.
Yeah, Tanvi, so we left there about 10 minutes ago. What happened in the interim?
They turned it off in the chambers.
So city councilors just adjourned their meeting. They were deciding something totally unrelated to the shooting. But because of the shooting, they decided to adjourn, and it was very emotional. Emotions were very high. If you look behind me, you can see most of them are still seated. A couple have gone up. It looked like a couple of them were tearing up. They felt like it was really inappropriate to discuss regular city things in light of this. And we are told by Council President just at the meeting that the 2 people who were shot are alive and that they're hoping that they make progress. Right now, we're going to try to talk to some city councilors, so I'm going to send it back to you guys, and hopefully we can come back on the air so you can hear from them as well. I'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Thembi. Right now, we're just talking about the differences between Customs and Border Patrol versus ICE and what their 2 jobs are in our city.
Yeah, generally, Immigration and Customs Enforcement does immigration enforcement on the interior of the country. Customs and Border Protection are the agents that work the borders. Those officers have been moved around as a response to President Trump's immigration crackdown. So you're seeing a lot more CBP officers working on the interior of the country, and that's what we're hearing from ABC News, is that it was CBP officers involved doing much of the same work that ICE agents would be doing. They also work within DHS.
And what it sounds like at this moment, from the information that we have, the first call that Portland Police Bureau received was at 2:24 that a man was injured from a gunshot wound at the scene that you're seeing right there on your screen. But that it was the first that they are reporting that they heard.
Yeah, that they got that call. We have a map. Can we put that back up? It gives a really good representation of where this happened. So the red dot on the left side of the screen is where this reported shooting took place at Southeast 102nd and Southeast Main. You can see this is all east of 205, so the very eastern portion of the city. That red dot on the right side along Burnside is where those 2 people who were shot went and called for help. Portland police responded to that scene. They say they applied first aid treatment before they figured out what happened. They have officers at both scenes. We're told the Portland Police Bureau's public information officer, which could maybe give us some more information, is headed to Adventist Health, which is right next to where that shooting took place.
We want to go back out to Thembi Varma, who's at City Hall right now with a counselor at this moment.
So I'm with Councilor Green right now. Dunphy, I'm so sorry. It's been a day. I'm with Councilor Dunphy right now. Can you please tell us a little bit about what your reaction is to the news?
I'm absolutely furious and heartbroken right now. I'm needing to stop what I'm doing here and rush out to my district, because it was heartbreaking enough to see what is happening in a different city, to know that this was coming to our community, and that one of my neighbors in my district is, 2 of my neighbors in my district are now sitting in a hospital bed and hopefully are going to be making it home. But this is not the kind of community that, not the kind of reaction from the federal government that we should be having. This is unacceptable. This is horrible.
Is there any information you can share with our viewers aside from what Council President shared earlier?
All we know is that at this point, we know that the person who was shot by a federal officer was the one who called for an ambulance. We know that it was a husband and wife, as I understand it. That's about all we know right now.
I understand. And so do we know anything about why Border Patrol agents were involved?
I don't know if it's, I don't know. I've heard different things about whether it was Border Patrol or ICE or another federal protective services. We're just operating with not enough information right now, and I don't want to speculate.
I understand. And Councilor, anything you can tell us about how this shifts your agenda now going forward? Do you guys have plans to discuss this?
You know, we're going to have to, obviously. We knew that this is always going to go away. And we knew that as things got quieter at South Waterfront, things were not going to go away entirely. But this is an escalation that is going to have the entire community respond. I know that Portlanders are hurting already, and that they're looking for ways to respond in a meaningful way. I hope that that response is peaceful, but I do hope that people show up. I hope that people demonstrate that this is not acceptable in Portland. This is not acceptable in the United States of America, and I hope that Portlanders use their voices peacefully, but use
Hi,
their
you're watching
voices
K2 News right now. We're listening to Councilor Dunphy at City Hall. We are following some breaking news that happened within the last couple of hours in Southeast Portland in the Hazelwood neighborhood. 2 people have been shot by federal officers.
We are told, ABC News is reporting that the officers are with the Customs and Border Protection. Portland police say the call came in around 2:30. The scene you're looking at right here is where the 2 people who were shot went to get help. They called police from there. The shooting scene was several blocks away, Southeast 102nd and Southeast Main. A lot of details still evolving right now. You heard from Councilor Dunphy. They're still not really sure exactly why these federal agents were interacting with these individuals.
We are at several different scenes at this hour. We want to go to K2's Christina Giardinelli, who's in Southeast Portland. This is about 141st and Southeast Burnside. Christina?
Yeah, Deb, I am still here at 146, just a slight correction. There's a few blocks up, but I did want to show you a new development just a little bit down the street on the same scene here. I'll step aside so you can see at this moment there do appear to be FBI agents here talking to the Portland Police Bureau, looking into the investigation aspect of this. This is a new development here. Looks like they did just, from what we can tell, arrive on scene. And so we're observing that interaction there between the Portland Police Bureau and the FBI agents gathering information. Of course, we'll be reaching out to both of those agencies, trying to get an update. The biggest thing, of course, everybody is asking at this time, and we're trying to find out as well, is the condition of those two individuals who came here wounded in their, it appears from what we're hearing from multiple neighbors, came in their car over here and then were taken to the hospital from there. Of course, still looking to learn how they're doing, what their condition is, and at this time we still don't have answers to those questions, but we are looking to get that for you, and we'll be monitoring this scene closely, just bringing you updates on any little thing that changes. But for now, back to you guys. We'll be following this.
Okay, Christina, thank you.
All right, let's get back to City Hall. Thunvi Verma is standing by with Councilor Loretta Smith. Thunvi.
It is just another opportunity for this administration to take brown and black people. I don't know who it is, but I just have early reports. And if it's who I think it is, we have a problem, and we need to keep our residents safe. And I know that the mayor has said that that is his first order of business. That is my first order of business, because I'm going to be pushing hard from the council to make sure that we do everything that we can do to protect our residents in our neighborhoods.
Councilor, anything specific you would like to introduce?
I don't have that available right now. I haven't had time to think about that. We're in the middle of an election. We were in the middle of a council meeting, and we got pulled out of our council meeting up to the mayor's office to be informed about what just happened in our community, in District 1 specifically. I thank you all for covering this, because we knew that it was probably going to get out very, very quickly. As soon as I know any additional specifics, I will let you all know.
We appreciate it, Councilor. All right, and Deb, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
That was Councilor Loretta Smith reacting to this news. We do have a statement now in from Mayor Keith Wilson. He said, just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. He said, we cannot sit by while constitutional protections erode and bloodshed mounts. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents, and the full force threatened by the administration has deadly consequences. As mayor, I call on ICE to end all operations in Portland until a full investigation can be completed. He went on to urge Portlanders to not respond to violence with violence and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time.
Jennifer Singh is out at the Southeast Portland scene, just a few blocks down from where Christina is at 148th and Burnside. Jen?
Yeah, Deb, like you said, I'm at 148th and Burnside. This is the very end of where the scene is blocked off from. And I'll take a step back once again. This is blocked from 145th to 148th on Burnside. And the westbound lane is closed right now. However, the eastbound lane is open and the MAX is running right now. Now, you can see Portland police officers are on scene, as well as FBI. Now, again, I want to kind of show you what Portland police said when it comes to Portland police on scene of these types of situations. Now, according to Portland Police Chief Bob Day, he said, we understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling in the wake of the shooting in Minneapolis, but I'm asking the community to remain calm as we learn more. He also issued a reminder that Portland Police does not engage in immigration enforcement, but is still responsible for maintaining public safety and enforcing state laws. That's why Portland police are out here. There is a heavy presence. But just to reiterate, this is not where that shooting happened. This is where the male and the female were found asking for help earlier this afternoon at around 12:30. As you heard from Christina, we're told by witnesses that they came in their car and they were both transferred to area hospitals where, again, their conditions right now are to my knowledge, unknown, but we may have received an update. Again, this is where the scene is at the tail end. Most of the neighbors and the witnesses are on the other end of that. That's where you hear Christina talking with people over there. But a lot of people here riding the max as well, looking to get some more information, and so are we at this time. So we will be sticking around, talking with people in the area, and bringing you the latest when we can. But for now, I'll toss it back to you, Deb Wright.
All right, Jennifer Singh, thank you for that. Let's take that map again one more time to give you an idea of where all this is transpiring. Jennifer and Christina are at that 146th and Burnside area. They're focused around an apartment in that area. The shooting happened many blocks away, southeast Main and southeast 102nd. So still on the east side of I-205 where all this is happening.
But where the call came in is at the 145th,
Exactly.
146th area, where Jen and Christina are at this moment. But where the shooting is said to have happened is many, many blocks away. In fact, it's right next to Adventist Health, where we have a reporter on the scene. But right now we want to go back to City Hall, where Thanvi Varma is. Thanvi?
Currently going to hospitals and being treated.
You've been trying to introduce legislation to crack down on ICE. Does this event change that, embolden that? What happens next?
Well, you can see, we already know from Minneapolis that there was a masked officer was the one doing the shootings, right? It took a while to identify them. We don't know yet here what exactly happened, but it's the same story. It doesn't change my commitment, it deepens it.
And Counselor, for our viewers who are now tuning in, can you tell us how you felt when you heard the news?
You know, horrified, shocked, unsurprised. I think there is a really important conversation we need to have as a country, and certainly here in the city, about why we even need, and I don't believe we do, to have this agency. ICE does not need to exist. ICE needs to be consigned to the dustbin of history. It's time to move on and move forward where we have a just government. And with that,
okay, we are listening to Councillor Kamal at this moment. We want to go back to Christina Giardinelli, who, Christina, do you have a witness near you?
Yeah, I'm here with Jefferson, who says he saw the vehicle pull up into this neighborhood. I'm going to just talk to him here, have him talk to you guys, and tell you exactly what he saw. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you saw as you were driving?
So I was stopped at the traffic light, and then I was behind him at the traffic light. So we came together. He was putting in this neighborhood, and then he was stopped on the road. So he was stopped and blocked
blocking the road?
Yeah, enter. So I peeped at him. He didn't move, so I scooted up a little bit next to him, and then I looked over his window. He was bleeding, so that when I try to park so I can go try to talk to him, but he was, I was all the way.
Went into the apartment.
Yeah, he was go over there.
Gotcha. Good. How are you feeling right now? That's a traumatic thing to witness.
I was very, I'll say, very bad. I feel bad for him. That's it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. So you just heard from one of the eyewitnesses. This is a similar story that I have been hearing multiple people describing, this vehicle kind of coming into these apartments, this person coming out wounded, and then of course police arriving and transporting both of those individuals in the vehicle to these regional hospitals. We'll continue to try and gather information. Again, one of the biggest questions we're hoping to get answers for you as soon as we can is the condition of those two individuals. For now, back to you guys.
Okay, Christina, thank you. In fact, we do want to go back out live to Adventist Health, which is in southeast Portland, very close to the scene. Shelby Slaughter is there live. Shelby?
Yeah, hey guys, we are being told right now that a PIO, that's a public information officer, just got on scene, so you're going to come with us. We are at the Adventist Health Portland. We're going to get any updates we can right now, and we'll take it live.
Okay.
We're live right now, just so you know. I didn't know if there was anything you could share with us.
We're not doing interviews right now because this is not our scene.
Got it.
We're assisting.
Okay.
But we did want to get the initial statement out.
Yeah,
so our press release has everything, and I'm not permitted right now to speak on it officially. But I just wanted to interface with you all, let you know there's a press conference coming sometime tonight. Somewhere, probably downtown.
Okay. And will PBB be leading that, or who should we expect?
I don't think we'll be leading that. No.
Okay.
We'll be involved.
MCSO maybe? FBI? FBI?
I think it'll probably be city leadership.
Got it.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Did the shooting happen here and then they drove back to the apartments?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I
So
appreciate
the red tape you see over there, that's the primary crime scene.
Great.
Okay. So you guys just heard from Sergeant Kevin Allen. He's a public information officer. He says the shooting happened here and then they went to the apartment. We're going to get some more questions in.
There were shots fired in the lot, and the guy drove off. The car that was like the target.
That's in the press release. Yes.
Okay, that's wasn't clear, but okay.
It's not crystal clear. I understand that, but you have something you can report.
Are you able to share the condition on the people who are in the hospital?
Were they taken to two different hospitals, or were they taken all here? I heard they may have been taken to one may have been taken elsewhere.
Probably. Typically, that's how it is, but I have not confirmed.
Typically, they don't.
Typically, they don't take patients to when they have, shootings. They'll usually take them to several places. That's been my experience.
Even if they're at the hospital, even if they're just like right here. Okay.
Yeah. Did they drive themselves from the hospital to the Bria apartments?
I'm not doing interviews.
I know.
Can you just clarify, because the
I understand
release
there's a lot
doesn't, it's not clear where the shooting occurred, whether it started here and continued and ended up at 146. Can you just clarify
That's part of the
that?
investigation, but I can tell you that our response was just an officer
Muffle some of the sound there because there are some upset people.
We want to get a view of is where exactly the shooting happened. It sounds like it was around where Shelby and them are, although it's not clear if it was at the hospital.
Right.
What we know is that they drove
It's
to
within
where...
a block, though, from the original address that we're hearing, for sure.
Yeah, and the public information officer with the Portland Police Bureau is there, and you heard Shelby ask, will they be investigating? The FBI is saying that they will lead this investigation because it was federal officers, so it's really unclear what role the police bureau, the local police bureau, play. They're trying to get answers now from him, but there is a lot for police still to investigate.
During the crime scene, and now the investigation.
Yeah, Shelby, can you hear us?
We're not seeing any witnesses out here. Can you explain maybe?
Yeah, I can't hear you guys right now. So Kevin Allen is right behind me. He's getting a phone call right now. He said there will be a press conference here in the coming hours. Looks like he's stepping away. But I did just hear you say in my ear, you're trying to get a better picture of where this happened. Since this is ending, my photographer, Felicia, we're going to try and get closer and show you.
Okay.
You guys see that red caution tape right there under the awning? That is where Kevin Allen said the shooting happened. Oh. He said he confirmed to me that the shooting happened, and then the two people drove themselves over to the Bria apartments where you're seeing Christina Jen at. So obviously this is a developing situation right now. We are expecting a press release here in the coming hours. It hasn't been said who will be leading that press conference, especially because this isn't PPB's case, as we heard Allen say. So we don't know if that's the FBI who's going to be leading this press conference, but any details, we're going to bring them right here to you.
So are we clear that there is indeed a victim back at that hospital?
We are not clear if the victims are back here at the hospital, but what Kevin Allen just said is that the shooting did happen here and then they drove themselves to the apartment. So where they've been at from there, I'm not sure. You might have heard me ask an update on their condition. He doesn't know that yet.
All right, Shelby Slaughter, thank you for staying on scene there.
And looking right now at where she is, that's Adventist Health, and that looks like a medical office as well there, but also it is a full hospital, so they left there. We need to figure out exactly what happened in that parking lot. This is a look at the scene of where the shooting happened under that awning. If you're just joining us, federal agents shot two people right here at that scene. That's Adventist Health, Southeast Main and 102nd. The people who were shot then drove to 146th and Burnside and pulled over at an apartment and flagged down some people for help. That's where the police officers initially responded to the shooting.
That was the first that they heard of the shooting. And I'm just going to read a little bit of the news release that the police officer was telling us about. And they said that they received a call at 2:18. They responded to Southeast Main Street on the report of the shooting. Officers confirmed federal agents had been involved. Portland police were not involved in this. 224 officers received information that the man who had been shot was calling, requesting help in the area at 146th. You can see that's on the right side of your screen right there with that red dot. And East Burnside. Officers responded, found a male and female with apparent gunshot wounds. They applied a tourniquet and called for emergency help. The patients were transported to the hospital, and their conditions at this point are unknown.
And earlier, Christina Giarnelli has been at that apartment for us all evening, and we saw FBI agents had arrived and were talking with police officers there. Christina, have you seen any more federal agents get there? What have they been doing behind you?
You know, I have had a hard time trying to figure out which ones are PPB and potentially FBI because the badges are smaller. But as it appears right now, this is all PPB. There is a lot of commotion in this neighborhood. A lot of people feel very upset about what they're hearing right now. So it's not surprising that there is a large police presence here right now. But it doesn't appear that there is FBI in sight. That does not mean that they're not here. As I mentioned, we did see them earlier. So we will keep an eye out and let you know if they are here. We'll have Brian just pan over a little bit. Obviously, there's going to be other cameras and other neighbors over here to Brian's right as he pans the camera over. But you can see there are a lot of neighbors standing around, a lot of commotion here, and the tensions are high. We just watched an individual. It's hard to see in the view of the cars, but you can probably hear a little bit of shouting. There was an individual very upset that walked over to police. So just the tensions are high here. And as you mentioned, Portland Police Bureau urging people to remain calm. Obviously, we're seeing protests in Minneapolis over the shooting there. So this is just high tensions, high emotions, and we're monitoring this closely. And we'll follow up with you on that question you had, right, about FBI agents. Right now, not seeing any, but I will let you know as soon as I do. We'll go back to you guys for now, but we'll stay here and monitor.
Okay, Christina, thank you. We want to go a couple blocks down the road where Jennifer Singh will join us live. And what type of officers do you see in your area?
Well, right now, we're only seeing Portland police officers on scene. Again, this is the tail end of where the area is blocked off. This is 148th and Burnside. You can see the caution tape, and the scene is a little bit further down. The entire westbound lane of East Burnside is closed off to traffic at this moment. And again, I want to reiterate, this is not where the shooting happened. This is the area where the two people who were injured had reportedly drove over here or driven over here and were calling for help. And again, this is where they were transported from over to the hospital. Right now, it's quiet on this end. Again, most of the neighbors are on the other end where most of the vehicles are right now. And like Christina said, we cannot really tell if FBI is on scene at this time, and we do not know who exactly is leading this investigation. And you can see the MAX is here, the MAX blue line, and it is still running right now. But again, people are urged to be cautious. But again, not much going on this side, just blocked off for those who are wanting to go westbound on the sidewalk or on the road. But of course, we'll be in the area monitoring any other updates. But for now, back to you.
Jennifer Singh, thank you for that. If you're just now joining us, we are following breaking news in East Portland. Federal agents have shot two people. There are two very active scenes. We are monitoring reaction coming in now from our local and federal leaders. The mayor sent a statement within the last 30 minutes saying just one day after the horrific incident in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, two people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. He is calling on the president to withdraw ICE from Portland until an investigation can be completed. He also urged Portlanders to remain calm, saying that we don't respond to violence with violence. We have teams all over right now.
We have several crews out in the field. Thambi Verma is at City Hall right now. She's been speaking with counselors. And Thambi, actually, we'll get to you in just a minute. I do want to go back to Christina Giarnelli. This is a very moving situation, but Christina is live at the scene in Southeast Portland.
Going on and step aside so you can see between, it appears, some of the neighbors or bystanders and police, a lot of yelling back and forth. We'll be ready to pan out or hit the beep if there are curse words, because there have been some, I can tell you, but a lot of yelling going on towards Portland police right now. as I mentioned earlier, tensions are just high. There's a lot of emotion here. A lot of people, as we're telling them what's happening, as we're narrating this, are expressing frustration about this entire situation. They also want to know more. They want to know the condition of the individuals that were wounded. Unclear what this individual is yelling at police about right now, but we can tell the tensions are high, and police are doing their best to remain calm. From what we can see right now, there haven't been any escalations on their end that we can see, but we'll be monitoring the situation closely. Tensions are getting real high here. People are really upset about this situation, and we're watching this closely. We'll send it back to you guys and continue monitoring here.
Okay, thank you, Christina. And we do want to clarify, even though Portland police are the officers that people see on the scene and have it taped off at this point, they were not involved in the shooting earlier this afternoon.
They are just holding down that scene right now. We're told the FBI will be investigating. Jennifer Singh is live at that same scene that Christina's at, a couple blocks away. You're standing by with State Representative Ricky Ruiz.
Yes, I am. He is Representative District 50, just neighboring of here. And you've spoken out a lot about ICE and border protection patrols in the area. What's kind of your reaction to all this?
Well, first and foremost, this is just completely inhumane, what we're seeing, what we're experiencing. We just saw what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, and here we are today. As far as we know, Border Patrol shot 2 individuals, and I think they're in the hospital right now, but this is completely like abuse of power that we're experiencing, and I can't believe it's happening in our backyard.
And as state representative, what more are you going to do after this?
Well, there's no question. We start our legislative session in February. We have a lot of policies that we're going to bring introducing in the short session here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do everything in our power to ensure that we're holding federal officers accountable and ensure that we're offering protections for those who are being taken advantage of by this administration.
And have you seen instances of Border and Customs Patrol in the area quite a bit?
Yes, especially in my area. I represent District 50, which is Gresham. We've seen an uptick of ICE agents patrolling, stopping people over, and we actually just got reports a couple of weeks ago of their, saying that they're utility workers and luring people out of their apartments and their homes to take them away. So no question, this has been happening for a long time.
All right, and any other message you have for the community right now?
Obviously, we have Portland police who is doing an investigation. I asked our community to please stay peaceful, let our law enforcement do the investigation, and just make sure that anything that we know and anything that Portland knows, I'm sure it will be shared to the public as soon as possible.
All right, thank you. Again, this is Representative Ricky Ruiz. I appreciate it. All right, Deb Wright, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Jen, thank you very much. We are starting to hear from representatives, our congressional representatives. Senator Merkley recently posted a statement on X saying huge concern about a reported shooting of 2 individuals by federal agents outside Portland Adventist Hospital. My team and I are closely monitoring the situation and are working hard to get answers. I will share any updates as I learn more. Please keep protests of Trump's ICE CBP peaceful, as Trump wants to generate riots. Don't take the bait.
And that is a common message we're hearing from local leaders here as well. This all unfolded while City Council was in a just regular meeting. There was also a protest at City Hall involving this ICE activity in Portland. Tanvi Verma, you were at that City Council meeting. Just walk us through what happened when they all left the council chambers and what you've been hearing from them when they came back.
So, right, I'm going to give you the play-by-play. Like you said, we went to the City Council meeting expecting nothing like this. In the middle of the meeting, abruptly, Council President said they had to recess. She did not give a reason. We've never seen anything like that before. Then, once she said that, councilors were rushed up to the 4th floor, that's the mayor's office, and then we saw Portland Police Chief Bob Day go up. We were speaking to protesters who were already outside the mayor's office. They were protesting the existence of the ICE facility out in South Portland. One of them told me that they got a tip that there was an ICE-related shooting. Turns out it was not ICE agents, it was federal agents from Customs and Border Patrol, but we did not know that at the time. Of course, we did our research, we got on the ground, and we were able to find some of those specifics and get them confirmed. But during this time, we were just hearing reports of protesters who got information off a police scanner. That's how we put it together. Then at around 3:40 in the timeline, the meeting began again at City Council, and that's when the council president said that basically there was a shooting involving federal agents, and that 2 people were harmed, though thankfully they are alive. And there will now be a vigil here at around 6 p.m. according to a Democratic Socialist organizer. He says they're working with City Council to raise awareness on what happened today. They all unilaterally condemned it. Deb and Wright, I'll send it right back to you. We're here and updating you with more information as we get it.
Okay, Thumby, thank you.
All right, let's take a live look now. Go back to Shelby Slaughter, who's on the scene of where the shooting happened, actually at the Adventist medical facilities. Shelby, show us that scene again and walk us through what you've learned.
Yeah, right. So I do want to point out here in this parking lot, you can see FBI agents here on scene. We also do have Portland Police on scene as well. And I know you guys have been reiterating this. This is not Portland Police's case, but they are on scene. The FBI is working on this case. Now, if we look over here to the left, you can see under this Medical 3 office, that red caution tape, I am told that is where the shooting happened. So the shooting happened right over there in that area. And police tell me the 2 people drove themselves from that area to the area where you are seeing Christina and Jen. Now, I do want to note this is a medical center, so patients are actually going out the back door. We won't zoom in too closely because of their privacy, but we are seeing people being escorted here out the back door, and a lot of people are rightfully shaken up by this. And I do want to note here that Portland Police have said that there will be a press conference here in the coming hours. They haven't said who will be leading that, especially since, again, Portland Police is not leading this investigation. So we are waiting to hear if the FBI will be speaking tonight. But until then, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Shelby, I have a question. If you can describe a little bit about where you are, because Adventist Health, there's the hospital and there are medical buildings. Is this the hospital, or is that just are those medical buildings offices behind you?
So the hospital is right here where you're seeing. We're going to point to that right there so you can get a lay of the land. There is the hospital. And then if you come over here, this is just, I believe, a health medical center. I haven't gotten too much clarity on what kind of medical treatments people come here, but we have seen people come in and out with patients, and doctors are coming out walking and making sure people get to their cars. So it is seemingly a place where patients are coming to get some kind of medical treatment. And again, Deb, to your question, it is very close to the hospital in the parking garage.
Shelby, thank you.
All right, we're going to give you a little reference of where this is all happening. We've got a map from the Police Bureau. Shelby Slaughter is at that red dot on the left side. You see I-205 running on the left side of your screen. That dot is where the shooting happened at Adventist Health. That other dot on the other side of the screen at 146th and Burnside is where these 2 people went after they were shot. That's where Police Bureau officers went and applied first aid. That's where the people drove to after they were shot.
That's an apartment complex area. Christina Giardinelli is at that location, 146th and Burnside. And Christina, I know you've been talking to witnesses, people who saw the victims.
Yeah, I have, Deb. And right now, I'm just going to step aside so you can see tensions are really escalating right now between police and some of the bystanders, some of the neighbors. We did just see the caution tape, the police tape extended. So they're moving people further back, and people were really upset about that move. There was a lot of yelling, some curse words, police doing their best, from what I can tell, to maintain their calm. They have not escalated or done anything. There have been hands reaching out over the caution tape. I did see just about a minute ago 3 FBI agents right on that corner where you're seeing Portland Police Bureau right now. FBI agents moving in towards the apartment complex. Unclear where they are at this point in time, but they did just walk into this. People getting upset here, and that anger is being at times directed towards the Portland Police Bureau, who I want to remind you, as of what we know right now, had nothing to do with the shooting that occurred. They are here monitoring this situation. FBI agents came in, and right around when that was happening, they moved the caution tape, which escalated some of the yelling at them. But they are standing there, as you can see. We'll continue to monitor this and bring you any updates that are going on as these tensions continue to escalate. For now, back to you guys.
Okay, Thumby, thank you. It is 4:30 on this Thursday afternoon. If you are just joining us, we are following some breaking news. Earlier this afternoon, just after 2 o'clock, 2 people were shot by federal federal agents. We were hearing word at this point that it was Customs and Border Patrol agents. That was at near Adventist Health at about 100th and Southeast Main. And then they were discovered several blocks later over on the right side of your screen at about 145th and Burnside, the east side of town.
At the moment, what we know is that those people were taken to the hospital. They are alive, but their condition is not known right now. As Deb said, that call came in around 2:15. We showed you earlier the shooting happened at the medical offices there at Adventist Health, and then those individuals drove to where Christina was. Portland Police Bureau, according to the reports we have right now, were not involved in this. ABC News reports they were Customs and Border Patrol agents, and the FBI will now be investigating this case. We're getting a lot of reaction right now from our local leaders, from our federal leaders, and we have our teams all across these scenes.
We will get to those statements from our leaders in a bit, but first we want to go to K2 Shelby Slaughter, who's at the scene of where the shooting took place, just outside of Adventist at about 100 and Southeast Main Street. Shelby, what can you tell us?
So let me show you a lay of the land right now. So to my left, right there where that sign is, that is the emergency room. And if you come across the street, this is a medical office. I'm told doctors are here. You can get x-rays here. And right under that awning where the medical office 3 sign is, that red caution tape, that is where the shooting happened. Now, a Portland police spokesperson tells me the shooting happened there and the 2 people drove themselves to the apartments where you're seeing Christina at. Their conditions are unknown at the time, but we do know that they are in the hospital. Now, I do want to paint this picture for you. You are seeing Portland police here, and you're also seeing the FBI. Now, the Portland Police Department has told me they are not leading this investigation. The FBI is on scene, and we are expecting a press conference here sometime this evening. We have not been given an update on that time, but I am told we don't know who's leading that press conference. So there's a lot of things still being worked out, especially because this just happened rather recently. And again, this is a medical office, and so we are seeing patients being wheeled out by security. I'm watching one happen right now. We won't get too close to protect their privacy, but you can see a woman is in a wheelchair and a security officer is helping guide her out because there were patients in this building. So we're seeing a lot of them come out and being escorted to their cars as officials work to get more details.
Shelby, I'm wondering if Felicia can give us one more look. Was that the Police Bureau's mobile command unit back there? And then can we get a look at the number of officers there? We see another one pulling in behind you.
Yep. Felicia, can you give them a look of all of the cars coming in? We don't know if that's the command post back there. Sergeant Kevin Allen, who is the spokesperson for the Portland Police Bureau, he is in that parking lot right now, and I am waiting to get more information from him. So as soon as he comes back this way, I will ask that question, right? But just to paint that picture for you guys, in these kinds of scenarios, it is typical that we see command posts set up, especially since we are at the scene where the shooting happened. And, you know, there are some people here on the roads directing traffic. That is medical staff just trying to help people get in and out here, since we are still seeing agents and police officers still arrive.
Okay, Shelby, thank you. We do want to go to the other scene where Christina Giardinelli is. This is at 146th and Burnside, where those 2 people drove themselves. It's near an apartment complex, and Christina has had a chance to talk to a couple of people who witnessed them driving to that neighborhood. But you were telling us just moments ago, the tensions are escalating.
Yeah, they have been, you know, on and off escalating between some of the bystanders and neighbors in this area and Portland Police Bureau, who really did not have anything to do with this shooting, or at least we have not been informed of that. From what we know, this is strictly involving federal agents, Border Patrol agents, not Portland Police Bureau. But the tensions with Portland Police Bureau here have been escalating. Right now, it seems pretty calm. I'll step aside so you can see there does appear to be a larger crowd building. I'm watching people arrive here. One individual wearing full mask, other individuals arriving on scooters, some in cars. So the crowd here is building up, and there have been, as I mentioned, moments of tension with Portland police. Looking over here, there's a lot of people walking in the other direction, so just looking to see what's going on. We do know that the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, is present on site, and of course that is drawing attention, but we're watching everyone walk in that direction, so we're going to go over there and see what's going on, and we'll get back to you guys with more information as soon as we have it.
Real quickly, Christina, I want to clarify, these people aren't coming out of the apartments. They're actually traveling to the scene. Is that correct?
Some of the people arriving are traveling to this scene, and I have confirmed some of the people here are not from here, and some of the people here are living here. So it is a mixture, and just for some context, if you live in Portland, you probably know this southeast side. Inside the southeast side is very much one of Portland's more diverse neighborhoods. A lot of tension here, a lot of frustration over this incident, and people yelling, "We want to know more, we want to know what's going on." So people are really looking for more information on this. We're going to follow where they're going, see what's going on here, and bring you guys the latest.
Okay. Thank you so much, Christina.
Let's get to Jennifer Singh. She is at that same scene on the other side, just a couple of blocks away. You can see that apartment complex Christina was at right behind Jen. And Jen, we understand you have someone standing by with you. Do they live in that area?
No, this is Cammie, correct? And she doesn't live in this area, but she's been protesting against the use of force and ICE over the past couple of months. Can you kind of describe why you're out here today?
Yeah, I'm out here today because I heard about that ICE had shot 2 Portland residents, and I just think that the violence that's happening is outrageous. So I had friends who were at City Hall and were trying to meet with the mayor to discuss with him what is going on and how ICE has been so violent and using such force in our area. We've been advocating for that for a while. And they were informed he was in an emergency meeting. And so then as more information about the emergency has come out, we decided that we needed to protest here and show up as much as we can, because after seeing what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, we knew that tensions were going to rise, and obviously political violence is increasing. But just to see this happen, 2 people shot today in Portland right after that is so insane.
And what's kind of your message to, I know you don't live here, but people in the community here?
My message to people in the community here is that you have to fight back. We have to stand up against what is going on right now. These are our constitutional rights, and everything that we stand for as people who believe in rights for other humans, all of that is being threatened right now. This is violence that we've seen coming up for years. Police violence is not a new situation. Law enforcement violence is not new. People have been speaking up about this in Portland for a long time, and so we need people to show up and to make your rage heard, because we can't just sit at home being upset about this. You have to show up and show your rage, because this violence will continue unless we do something about it.
All right, Cammie, thank you. And again, we are right across the street from the scene. You can see Portland police are on scene. There's a large police presence, but again, this is not Portland police who are investigating or involved in the shooting, but that's all we know. We are still waiting for more information, and I'll send it back to you, Deb.
Right. Okay, Jen. Thank you so much. We want to show you a tweet that went up earlier this afternoon. It has since been deleted, but it is from Portland FBI office, and it says FBI Portland is investigating an agent-involved shooting that happened at approximately 2:15 near the 10,000 block of Main Street in Portland, involving Customs and Border Patrol agents, in which 2 individuals were wounded. It remains active and ongoing investigation led by the FBI. Follow this thread for updates regarding the matter, but that tweet has since been deleted.
And Victor Park is actually live for us at that original shooting scene, which is a health clinic, the Adventist Health Clinic. Victor, we saw a number of unmarked police cars pull in and go under that awning. So walk us through the scene behind you and what those officers are doing.
Yeah, I want to make clear that this is the clinic right over here. There are several buildings. This is building 3 right here. We actually spoke to a couple who was being seen at this hospital, and they're being told that they were allowed to go inside even though this scene is happening outside of the hospital, and that people are being escorted. Patients are being escorted in and out of the hospital. And then just a few feet down, this is where you see the awning right there. Then you see that truck. That truck is it's a black truck, appears to be from the FBI, because I did see several FBI agents around that. On the other side of that truck is where a car is at, and we've been watching that car for the last few minutes, and just sitting there with 2 doors open, both the driver's side and the passenger side, and then there's yellow tape around it. But what's interesting is that we see this yellow tape right in front of the car, which obviously you can't see now because of that truck. There is red tape, and typically that red tape is sort of a zone where only certain officers could go past that. As I've been covering so many different kinds of shootings involving officers, this time involving federal agents. But that is the scene right over here, just on the outside of that part of the clinic. Again, a lot of people coming here right now, a lot of spectators, people wanting to know exactly what happened. I should also mention that the patients that I spoke to came out. They had no clue what was going on. They were sort of shocked to see the amount of people here, the amount of news media members, and of course the amount of police. And I had told them what happened, and they were certainly shocked to also hear that this happened right outside the hospital that they, or the clinic that they were at. And so that is sort of what's happening right now here, but I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Victor, I got a quick question. Can you see underneath that awning behind you? The police bureau has confirmed that's where the shooting happened. I'm wondering if can you see underneath that awning, or have they totally blocked it off?
We could. Let's actually go over here, Tim. He's on a tripod, so bear with me. But let's come over here and let's show you the awning, because it is right over there. I do see some federal agents right on the, just outside of the awning right there. And you see, actually, let's see this Portland police. This is the one that, this officer, she's the one who appears to have been escorting people in and out of the hospital. So I want to make sure we're pointing that out, because again, if you have an appointment here, obviously you want to call the clinic and figure out if you could still go in. But that is what they've been seeing. But to answer your question, right, that is what we see underneath the awning. You know, a lot of tape, a lot of yellow tape, and then there's that red tape on the other side of that. And then just outside of the awning is where the car is at. I should also mention, because we've been talking about the scene at 146th and Burnside, that is 2.7 miles away from here. It's about an 11-minute drive. And so who knows what brought the two people to that location, but I should also mention that because I've been looking at the map and kind of figuring out, you know, what it takes to go all the way over there. It's not a few blocks down from here. It's 2.7 miles away.
Okay, Victor, thank you. We do want to read some of the statements coming through from our representatives. This is from Maxine. Can I read the Congresswoman Dexter's comment for? Okay, there we go. She's released a statement saying, just one day after the horrific murder in Minneapolis, I received reports that 2 people in my district were shot by federal immigration officials this afternoon in East Portland. Both individuals are alive, but we do not know the extent of their injuries. ICE has done nothing but inject terror, chaos, and cruelty into our communities. Trump's immigration machine is using violence to control our communities. Straight out of the authoritarian playbook, ICE must immediately end all active operations in Portland. I will share more updates as they become available. I am demanding full accountability and transparency. I encourage our community to stay calm and show courage in this moment.
Shelby Slaughter speaking to DA Nathan Vasquez right now. He's just arrived on scene.
What do we need to do here, guys?
I'll give you a moment to get set up. Yep. You can wait. We get on the other side of you.
Yep, no worries.
Vasquez is speaking.
DA Vasquez is about to speak about what happened here at this medical center. We're just waiting for some more cameras to get into position. We're just waiting for some more cameras to get into position, but DA Nathan Vasquez is about to make a statement about what happened here at this medical center, where we know 2 people were shot by U.S. immigration enforcement. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Everybody good ready? Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Of course, I'm very concerned and about the events that have transpired here today. We are here from the District Attorney's Office to monitor, to assist, and to make sure that there's a thorough and complete investigation, that evidence is fully preserved, and that we're certainly hoping that we can get all of the facts about what transpired here today, and we will work to update the public as we go forward and get more information.
Who's the head investigator on this right now? I know PPP is not.
Right now, I don't have a lot to say about that as this investigation is starting to unfold, and certainly the different agencies involved are coming together. But we are working closely with Portland Police, and the FBI certainly is here, and we're making sure that they have all the resources that they need. And of course, our priority and main concern is that there's a thorough and complete investigation, that all facts that can be learned are obtained, and that we can get as much information as possible.
What's your message to the community right now?
I think the message to the community is that local officials are very carefully monitoring this, and we're making sure that the interests of this community are well represented and that this investigation is done in a thorough and complete manner.
Can you say anything about the scene? You were just over there. Thank you. Okay, so you guys just heard from Nathan Vasquez. That was an impromptu press conference. As you just heard, he is going to let officials here do their jobs. That is the FBI that's on scene. And I did write down an answer to your question because you were wondering who is coming here in these marked cars. That is an evidence response team with the FBI. So that's who we saw just come on scene right before Nathan Vasquez was on site. And he's going to let this play out. He's going to let everyone do their jobs on scene right now before his office takes the next steps. Again, we are expecting a press conference here in a matter of hours. He's still over here. Let me see if I can get him again. You guys can stay with us. DA Vasquez. Can I ask you one question? Are you able to say anything about this scene since you were just over there?
I cannot say anything about the scene. This is an ongoing investigation, so I can't comment on the scene.
Do you know anything about the victims?
It's not something I can comment on.
Okay. He just said that was not something he could comment on right now. But as you can see, he is going back into the scene right now. So any other updates we get, we'll bring them right here to you. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Shelby, for going for that further step to asking that question. We do want to clarify, we do not know what led up to this shooting. This all took place about 2:15 outside of where Shelby is standing by outside the Adventist Medical Office building. About 2:15, then another call came in several minutes later. 2.5 miles, is that what it is? 2.5
Victor
miles
said.
Where Victor is at 146th and East Burnside, but we do not know what led up to this scene with the federal agents shooting those two people.
Yeah, I was just saying, Victor's the one that gave that great frame of reference that it's 2.5 miles those people drove from where they were shot, and there's a map of where that is. That red dot on the left side is where Shelby and Victor are at the medical clinic there, and the other dot is 146th and Burnside where these individuals went. And as Deb said, we don't know what led up to the shooting. We are also monitoring DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. They've not issued any statement. The FBI gave a very cursory statement, but that's since been deleted. So we really don't have any official word right now from federal agencies about what they're doing, about what happened here. And we've seen that DHS in the past has weighed in very quickly, so we'll keep monitoring that. We're just getting reaction from our elected leaders.
And the shooting scene, we did say it took place outside of Medical Center, but right across the street is the emergency room. That is where the main hospital is. You have to imagine there will be camera footage of what happened, what unfolded.
Exactly, and I'm actually going to reach out to Victor and Shelby there and see if they can spot cameras on that medical clinic, because that would certainly give a vantage point of what happened. It happened underneath that awning. A very good look we got from Victor, where you can see that red tape really centralizing the location. There's a live look at it, and you're seeing it happen underneath that awning. We've got that confirmed from police, and you see that FBI evidence team that Shelby talked about. They've since gotten there in the last 15 minutes or so. They've now turned a light on, so it looks like everything is focused here at this clinic.
You can imagine they'll be there for several hours this evening, and they've been escorting patients outside of the medical building. We do want to go to the second scene, which is that 2.5 miles away, where Christina Giardinelli is live at 146th and Burnside.
Yeah, Deb, I want to give you a quick look at what we just found here. This red vehicle, I believe the red truck there, is what a lot of people have been describing. All of the neighbors here I've talked to that said they saw the vehicle drive in with the wounded individuals described it as a red truck. We're seeing that red truck there. We're also seeing FBI agents, not here right now, but I've been watching them going. Actually, you could see over to the right one FBI agent coming out of it looks like an apartment, one coming from the left, all surrounding that red truck. So it does appear that that may be the vehicle in question here. Hard to get a good look at it. Maybe with the camera lens you can see it a little better than even I'm seeing it right now, but we are seeing a lot of FBI agent activity. Most of the federal FBI agents appear to be surrounding that truck, working on investigating around that truck. I can tell you I've been talking about the tensions here in this neighborhood and the people arriving, and I can tell you those still pretty high. We're hearing some yelling back and forth. Some of the streamers situation that you have seen maybe at ICE, where one streamer is kind of yelling at another live streamer and not wanting to be on camera. We're starting to see some of that. We're also starting to see a lot more masked individuals arriving. So the situation here does appear to be escalating a little bit, although everything so far has remained peaceful. I haven't seen anyone raising hands or anything like that, but we'll be monitoring that situation, especially as the sun goes down now. We know that's when these situations can get even more tense. Not a huge Portland Police Bureau presence. I'm counting maybe 15 patrol cars here in this immediate area. So we'll have to see how that plays out throughout the night, but we'll watch that closely for you. This is a very populated neighborhood. There's a lot of residences around here. This is not exactly like the scene that we see play out, for example, outside ICE. There's a lot more neighborhoods, a lot more families, kids here even standing around. So we'll definitely be watching this closely and updating you on everything. You might hear a little bit of yelling. That's been going on periodically, and we're watching these situations play out. We'll come back to you guys.
Christine, I got a quick question for you. Our viewers are seeing us how we news gather. This is all happening as we're on the air. You've done a great job talking to people who are living out there. Could you ask if these individuals perhaps lived in that apartment? We're trying to figure out 2.5 miles from where the shooting happened. Maybe.
Yeah, right. I did ask that question. Yeah, I have asked that question, and I can tell you some people are telling me they believe the individuals came here because they know someone who lived here. I have not found out for sure yet whether or not they lived here specifically, but I have been asking that question, and I will continue to ask it. It's a good question. Thank you for bringing it up.
Thanks, Christina. And as we should clarify once again, because we are hearing the tensions escalate in these locations, Portland Police Bureau saying that they had nothing to do with the situation, but they're the ones standing behind the tape, and so oftentimes that's who ends up getting yelled at.
Yeah, certainly. They have more resources than the federal agents, but they told us they got the call at 2:18 about that shooting, Southeast Main and 102nd, which is the scene you're seeing right here. They responded there, and then 6 minutes later got the call from where Christina is of those individuals who had driven there and were wounded. Officers treated the individuals there and then took them to an area hospital. We're still not sure where they went, and we should note we don't even know their condition.
We don't.
We're told they were alive earlier, but we don't know anything about their condition.
And we still don't know what led up to the shooting in the first place. So we are trying to break that down and find out the details of what happened. In the meantime, let's go to Jennifer Singh, who is live just a couple blocks down from where Christina is. Are people gathering where you are?
Well, no, Deb. We actually just moved because no one was gathering. We were originally at 148th in Burnside, and we have since moved down here to 146 in Burnside. You can see the crowds of people on the other side of the street where a bunch of police officers are on scene. We also did see FBI agents knocking on the doors of apartment complexes across the street. We've been seeing them go door to door. We're not sure exactly why they've been doing this, but probably to get some more information, as we can tell. And as you can see from this side, you heard Christina talk about a lot of people in this area and tensions rising. You can see crowds of people are forming over here. A lot of people just coming out to see what's going on. Again, there's still a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to. I've talked with a good number of people who still did not know what had unfolded here. Again, want to reiterate, this is about 2.5 miles from where that shooting took place, and the people that were injured were transported to the hospital from here. And again, this is the area of 146th in Burnside where those two people were found. Now, again, we still are unsure what led up to this shooting, but we do know Portland police are on scene. They are assisting in this investigation, not leading it. We are still unclear who is leading it, but again, FBI agents have been going door to door. We are working to figure out what they are asking people in this area. But again, we do have Christina Giardinelli on the other side also talking with the neighbors over there. But we, of course, will stick over here and see any new details that we can. But I'll toss it back to you.
Have breaking news in this developing situation. We now have a statement from the Department of Homeland Security. It's right here. At 2:19 Pacific Standard Time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger, fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. So there we have an official response from the Department of Homeland Security.
That's the most official that we've heard of what unfolded in the moments leading up to the shooting. Let's go to K2's Victor Park, who's live at the medical center where this all took place earlier today. This happening just 2:18 in this afternoon. Victor?
Yeah, some very interesting details right over here that we just heard But take a look right over here. There are more FBI agents, more federal agents arriving, as you see right over there. That truck also has moved forward, allowing us to have a better angle of this. Now you see over there those FBI agents and of course all that tape, and then there is a car over there that I was referring to in my last live shot with the two doors opened. Who were in that car? We do not know, of course, right now. Earlier I heard Wright talking about surveillance cameras. You know, I actually haven't seen any and do not see any around this building and around this awning, so possibly by the entrance there could be some surveillance cameras that really could paint the picture exactly what unfolded here. But yeah, I have not seen any surveillance cameras from my angle at least. But you see this Portland police officer with this person there. This is something we've been seeing, this officer escorting people from the facility and to their vehicles or out to the sidewalk. And so that is what has been happening here. Also, what we're seeing here is quite the contrast to what we're seeing 2.7 miles away at 146 in Burnside. We're not seeing any protests here. We're not seeing any, I mean, it's mostly members of the media and a few others who are just coming here and taking pictures, some social media influencers we've also seen, but that's pretty much it. There is also security from the facility telling people to stay off the property, to stay off the grass. But pretty calm over here. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Victor, thank you. We want to go a couple miles down the road where K2's Christina Giardinelli is at the scene where the two victims ended up and outside that apartment complex. Christina?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more of an update here just in looking from what's going on. We saw FBI agents entering an apartment right here. It's unclear why. It's closed right now, but I can tell you the green door that the camera will zoom into right now, right next to those mailboxes, that door was open. FBI agents were going in there, at least 2 or 3 of them, talking to what appeared to be a resident there. It's unknown what the connection is, if there is a connection. Wright asked me earlier whether or not the individuals whether I was able to find out if the individuals live in this complex. Still unknown. From what I can tell, from what I have heard, people are saying that they may have come here because they knew someone, know someone. So it's unclear whether or not that was just an interview of someone who may have seen something or whether that person is connected. But we're keeping a close eye. I want to pan the camera just real quick over so you can get an idea of how many people have been gathering here at this scene right now. A few of those individuals coming from the neighborhood here in the area, and then a lot of other people are just gathering from all around the city. From what I can tell, we do have masked individuals covering their faces with black masks. So some of what you see at the protest, and there have been some incidents of shouting back and forth at each other. Also some incidents of shouting at the Portland Police Bureau, which is the one most visible here. They are on the closest to the caution tape to the areas that are immediately facing some of these bystanders, some of these individuals. So they're taking the brunt of this while FBI agents are investigating. Portland Police Bureau that we know of had nothing to do with this shooting, but they are monitoring this perimeter right now, and we'll come back out here and keep you guys informed as we're watching this.
Okay, Christina Giardinelli, thank you for joining us. That was 146th and Burnside, where a lot of activity is still happening and people are gathering there in protest of today's events.
And as we've been telling people, Portland Police, just the most visible agency, but not involved in this shooting. DHS had confirmed that was federal agents. So Christina's out there with Portland police officers that are handling that scene, but not involved in the actual shooting that is under investigation.
That's right.
From K2 News, this is breaking news.
And of course, that breaking news that we've been covering the past couple hours, federal agents shoot 2 people in Portland. Both are in the hospital tonight. Their condition is unknown. This happened around 2:15 this afternoon near 102nd and Main. That's right by Portland Adventist Hospital. The 2 people shot were found more than 40 blocks east of there near 146th and Burnside.
We have team coverage for you right now. We have multiple crews at the scene of where the shooting happened, as well as where those 2 individuals drove after the shooting. We've also got a crew at the ICE facility in South Portland. We're going to start with Jennifer Singh at the scene of where those individuals drove to at 146th and Burnside. Jen, what's the latest out there?
Well, right now, I'll take a step away so you can see the scene. Again, this is 146th in Burnside, where, like you said, the 2 people that were shot drove themselves 2.5 miles away over here. And you could see Portland police are on scene, and we also have been seeing FBI agents going door to door, talking with what appears to be residents in the area. Now, again, Portland police are not involved in this situation, but they are on scene assisting. Again, we still are waiting for a lot of information. But again, it was just before 2:30 that Portland police say officers received a call that one person at least had been calling for help, reportedly being shot. And on scene, they found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds. Now, officers did aid in medical care before the 2 were taken to area hospitals. Again, their situation and their conditions at this time are unknown, but officers have determined that the 2 people were injured in the shooting had involved federal agents. Now, as you can see, a lot of people are lining the area over there. We've been seeing some confrontations between protesters, what appeared to be protesters, and Portland police. Again, Portland police have nothing to do with this shooting tonight. But the area of 145th to 148th of East Burnside, the westbound lanes are blocked off at this time, but the MAX does appear to still be running. Now, of course, we will still be out here talking with the neighbors and trying to get any additional updates that we can. But for now, I'll toss it back to you guys.
Okay, Jen, thank you.
All right, we have official word from the Department of Homeland Security about what happened. We got this statement at 4:52 posted on X. It says at 2:19, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized the vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger, which is where Jen was, fleeing the scene of that shooting. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming.
And we just received that within the past 10 minutes, that statement, the official statement about what happened, what led up to the shooting. We want to go back live to the scene of where this all took place just after 2 o'clock, about 2:18, where KT Shelby Slaughter joins us live. Shelby?
Yeah, Deb, let me show you exactly where this happened. Right where that sign is, it says Medical Office 3. There's some red caution tape. That's where you see FBI agents surrounding that red caution tape. We're seeing flashes happen over there, which I assume to be photos of the area. We also see that black, almost truck-looking vehicle where agents are coming in and out of to get tools to process this scene. And I do just also want to note here, you know, this is an area where doctors and x-rays, and it's a medical building where medical things take place. And we are seeing staff try to get their cars because their cars were in this parking lot. So the FBI and Portland police are really trying to manage this scene. They had this caution tape up that you can see here that was trying to block this parking lot, but they had to take it down because so many staff members are trying to leave. Now, if you look a little deeper back here into the parking lot, you can see FBI agents are here. There's also a command truck back there that they're walking in and out of as they try to process this scene. And I also do want to note here that patients were inside this building when the shooting happened, and we are seeing patients being escorted out of the back to their cars safely. And if you were just joining us, District Attorney Nathan Vasquez was just on scene. We did watch him walk back into this parking lot where the scene is being processed. And he says that he's going to let the investigators do the work before any next steps are taken. Back to you guys.
Shelby, thank you. We want to go back out to the second scene. This is where the two people who were shot drove to about 2.5 miles away from that area. This is about 146th and East Burnside, where K2's Christina Giardinelli joins us live. And Christina, you've been there for the past couple hours. Can you explain to us how this scene has changed over the past couple hours?
Yeah, Deb, when I first got here, just a few people, mostly neighbors. Some of them actually witnessed the vehicle driving here, watching the person get out, at least one person get out of the vehicle wounded, describing blood in the vehicle as the person was getting out. And now that scene just growing and growing. A lot of people coming from around the city, not just neighbors here anymore, but what appeared to be protesters, people masked, a lot of people also taking out their frustration with this situation on the Portland Police Bureau, yelling at them as they kind of move the scene around. Right now, things have calmed down. Not a lot going on with the bystanders, the individuals here, but we have seen just a little bit of tension and confrontation, sometimes even between one bystander and another. You know, some of the situations that we've often seen, for example, outside ICE, where there's a live streamer confronting another live streamer. So we've seen some of that going on here. But I want to give you a quick look at the apartment complex and what's going on. We have seen federal agents canvassing the apartments. So they were on the lower floors earlier, talking to some of the residents inside those apartments. And just a couple minutes ago, we saw them on the second floor. Now they're on the third floor. So if the camera zooms into that third floor just above there, there's federal agents waiting outside the door. They're knocking there. They appear to be canvassing all of the residents here. I can tell you that the vehicle the neighbors have described, a red truck we showed you earlier in the 4, we'll try and get eyes on it again in just a little bit, is on the other side of the complex. And around that red truck, we also saw a lot of FBI activity. So what's happening right now is the caution tape, the perimeter of this scene. We're seeing Portland police presence. They're monitoring the perimeter, but the investigating units are FBI agents, and they're canvassing this apartment complex right now. So that's what's going on here. As there's a number of bystanders, I'm actually starting to see some of the bystanders leave right now. So there's not as many people here as there were. This is a family residence area. There were families, there were kids here, so not a great place to hold a protest necessarily. A lot of these people actually leaving now, it seems like, and I have heard some of them just telling me a few minutes ago that they're headed towards the ICE facility where we have other crews on the ground there, so we'll be monitoring that situation as well as watching what federal agents are doing here at this scene. And back to you guys for now, but I'll keep my eyes on this.
Christina, thank you so much for that. If you're just now joining us a couple minutes after 5 o'clock, we are following breaking news. Federal agents have shot 2 people in East Portland. Christina was reporting from that location where the 2 people who were shot were found at 146th and Burnside. That's on the right side of your screen. On the left side of your screen at Southeast 102nd and Southeast Main, that's where this shooting took place. You see all of this taking place east of I-205 to give you an idea of where this happened in Portland at a medical clinic there at that scene on the left side.
And we're coming up on about 3 hours after the initial incident happened. 2:18 is the report of what police officers say when it took place. We want to go live to K2's Victor Park, who is live at the medical center where the shooting took place earlier today. Victor?
That's right, Deb, and we've been hearing so much about this awning, and to give you some perspective, so this is the medical clinic right over here. There are several buildings. This is building 3, and then to the right of that is this awning right there in that parking lot, and then you could see those agents right over there, and that truck, and the red tape, and a vehicle over there, that vehicle with both of its doors open, the driver's side and the passenger side vehicle of the vehicle. Now, it's unclear how is that involved in this whole incident. Who was in that vehicle? we do not know, but that is the center and the focus of this investigation, right around that awning. Some of them have been going in and out of the hospital, in and out of that truck right over there. But it's interesting because more and more federal agents have been arriving, and as you can see over there, some of them taking pictures, some of them sort of just standing around talking. I mean, this is going to last for several hours. Again, this is a medical clinic, right? There are patients who have been here. We spoke to some who came out and they really did not know what was going on. They were shocked to see the amount of media members, the amount of police crews over here. On top of all this, they're saying that the hospital did not tell them exactly what happened, that they're trying to figure that out too. And so that is the scene here. We've also been watching Portland police sort of securing this area, and they have been escorting people, whether it's staff members or patients, from the clinic and to their vehicle. And there's also security from the clinic who have been outside of this and sort of just watching the crowd, making sure people are not getting on the property and, of course, crossing that yellow tape. And so that is the latest from here. I'll send it back to you.
Victor Park, thank you for that. And just to reiterate, we have from the Department of Homeland Security, they say they were doing a targeted vehicle stop on an individual they believe to be in the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. They say the person was also involved in a shooting in Portland, and they went to pull that person over, and they say the person tried to hit an agent with his car, and that's when the agent fired back at that medical clinic under that awning where you saw Victor. That is what we have from the Department of Homeland Security right now.
Tanvi Varma joins us live from the ICE facility in South Portland. And Tanvi, is there a crowd developing behind you?
There is, Deb. So protesters are starting to trickle in. I want to give you a little bit of a look. You can see they've started to set up a vigil for the two people who were shot. And I want to show you some of the signs protesters are holding. They came out here to protest the shooting of two people in Portland by Border Patrol agents. And they had these signs ready in light of what happened in Minnesota. And you can see over here, there's protesters just in front of the ICE facility. So they were trying to block the driveway when federal agents came in. That situation just cleared up, and now I'm joined by an activist, and this is Jack Dickinson. He's in a chicken outfit to shed light on what's been going on with the Trump administration. Jack, tell us a little bit. You were one of the first people to find out what happened. He found out by listening to the police scanners. Tell us about that.
Well, so it wasn't me personally. It was someone in one of the networks that I know. But yeah, we were tapped in to the police scanners, saw that there had been a shooting, and were able to connect the dots for it being ICE.
Yeah, what sort of protest are we going to expect tonight?
It's hard to say. I think one thing that Portlanders have indicated this year is that we know how to protest the right way. And so what I would like to see from our elected officials is not a lecture on the protesters to not take the bait and how to react. I'd like to see some action done to safeguard our communities.
All right, thank you, Jack Dickinson.
Thank you. We have crews spread out all across the city this hour. We are continuing to follow this breaking news. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more response from our congressional leaders as well as leaders in our community.
Tap, scan, amplify. AMP Sales and Marketing Solutions. One partner, endless possibilities.
We trusted the remodeling experts from Mountainwood Homes to modernize our 1959 home. They're family-owned, trustworthy, and made the process easy, start to finish. If you're thinking about doing a remodel yourself, we highly recommend visiting mountainwoodhomes.com.
If you're at home right now and you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention to this next segment as we discuss neuropathy.
What is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and the legs primarily.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms we see are numbness, burning, muscle cramps, problems with your balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get some great results.
If you're experiencing burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or having balance issues, call today for your nerve damage screening. Your nerve damage screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our innovative treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe there is nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Act now and call to schedule your nerve damage screening. First 25 callers receive this screening for free. Pirtle-Guiney.
Our home's temperatures were unbearable, either too hot or too cold. Goldilocks, being Goldilocks, wanted everything just right, so she called the pros.
Get your $99 furnace tune-up today from Roth Home. Call Roth.com.
Winter savings on now at Banner Furniture and Banner Mattress. Save up to 45% on well-known brands. Conveniently located on TV Highway, family owned and operated for 45 years. Next day delivery available. Come out today.
At Jacobs Heating and Air Conditioning, we never stop working to earn your trust.
You can count on us to get the job done right.
For over 70 years, we've been keeping families comfortable.
With the most advanced technology and the best products like Carrier.
Sold only through authorized dealers like us.
Whatever your heating and cooling problem, we can fix it.
Con los mejores técnicos certificados.
We're at Jacobs Heating and Air Conditioning.
Giving you our best since 1952.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 0.99% APR for 60 months on the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
We trusted the remodeling experts from Mountainwood Homes to modernize our 1959 home. They're family-owned, trustworthy, and made the process easy, start to finish. If you're thinking about doing a remodel yourself, we highly recommend visiting mountainwoodhomes.com.
From K2 News, this is Breaking News.
Welcome back. We are following breaking news involving a shooting involving federal agents. The Department of Homeland Security says immigration officers were conducting a traffic stop at the scene on the left side of your screen at Southeast 102nd and Main. The person they were trying to arrest drove off. They say an agent fired a defensive shot at that driver. The person then drove to the other location you saw there on your map at 146th and Burnside, where those people were taken to the hospital. We are still waiting to learn more about their condition.
This is all happening in East Portland in the Hazelwood neighborhood. We have responses from several people in our community. Right now, I want to take a look at what our sheriff, Multnomah County Sheriff Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell issued this following statement saying the use of deadly force by law enforcement weighs heavily on all of us who serve. I am monitoring the situation that occurred this afternoon in Southeast Portland. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office was not involved in the shooting, nor were we on scene when it happened. My thoughts are with those who were injured during the shooting, their families, and anyone who witnessed it. Moments like this can create even greater fear, and I recognize the weight of emotion our country and now our community is carrying right now. The investigation is being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
And that left shot there is the scene of the shooting at the medical clinics, Adventist Health medical clinics. Are federal agents on scene right now processing where the shooting happened. We have Jennifer Singh about 2.5 miles away at 146th and Burnside, where those individuals drove after being shot. Jennifer, what can you tell us? You've been talking to people out there. What have you learned?
Well, we have learned that there are still a lot of questions to be answered, actually, a lot of confusion. Right now, we're at 146th and Burnside. From 145th to 148th is closed off, but I'll let you take a look at the scene. There are a lot of people out here on the other side of the road in front of those apartment complexes is where we're told the two people who were shot were found. Now, again, we are still unclear why they were coming to this apartment complex specifically. Now, Portland police crews are on scene, as well as FBI. We have seen FBI agents going door to door, talking with what appear to be residents inside of the apartments. We're unclear why they are inside the apartments, what they are asking people in the area. But people here, honestly, are frustrated with what has happened in the community. That is the overall consensus that we are hearing from people tonight. Again, this is not where the shooting happened, but 2.5 miles away from where it happened, where the two people drove, and then they were taken to the hospital. Now, again, officers on scene were able to provide medical care before they were taken to the hospital. And you can see Portland police walking along the sidewalk here. Again, Portland police are not involved in this situation. situation, but they are assisting. Again, according to Portland police, they do not involve themselves with immigration and customs enforcement or Customs Border Protection patrols, but they do say they do want to protect the community and any threats to public safety. That is why they're on here on scene tonight. But again, this is right across the street from where the two people were found, and we are still waiting on more information. As you've heard, we've heard a lot of updates over the past hour from DHS as well as Portland Police, Multnomah County Sheriffs. I'll let you guys get to those, but for now, Jennifer Singh, K2 News.
Okay, Jen, thank you. Thank you so much. And as Jen just mentioned, details are emerging just about every minute. We're learning new information. In fact, at 6 o'clock tonight, Mayor Wilson will be holding a news briefing on the updating all of us as to what happened earlier this afternoon.
Earlier today, he sent a statement confirming the details of what happened, but he ended his statement with this: I call on every Portlander to represent our values and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time. Portland does not respond to violence with violence. He was urging people to respond calmly to what's transpired. We're still waiting to really figure out exactly what happened before the shooting.
This all happened east of 205, 102nd or so in Maine. This is near the Adventist Hospital. It was outside of a medical facility at about 2:18 this afternoon. That's where we find K2's Victor Park, who's been standing by. And I know, Victor, you've seen agents go in and start setting things up tonight.
Indeed. In fact, that is where they are right now. In fact, it is a little bit difficult to see exactly the vehicle that they have been focusing on. But let's zoom out. I'm going to actually show you this picture right over here that I took earlier, and you could see that vehicle. It is a black Hyundai with a missing bumper. That car pretty damaged on the front, and you can see those two doors opened. That is the vehicle that they have been focusing on. The relation to this whole incident, it's unclear because, again, mind you that the two people were found 2.7 miles away. It's about an 11-minute drive without traffic from this location. And so we're obviously trying to figure out how this vehicle is involved. But again, we've been talking to patients here, and some of them have been telling us that they did not hear anything, for one. They were inside, this couple was inside of the clinic, did not hear anything. They came out and saw all the amount of police, the amount of media members, and that is when we broke the news to them, and they were certainly shocked. They said that they could not imagine something like this happening in their neighborhood. And so that is sort of the feeling around here. And again, Portland Police has been asking people to leave the hospital and telling them, hey, go get to your car, and they've been escorting them from there. And so we've been watching that happening here at the hospital, but pretty calm over here right now. I'll send it back to you.
Victor Park, thank you for that. We'll be right back after a quick break to follow this breaking news we're following right now.
ARC PDX, weekdays at 7 a.m., right on KUNP.
At Sky, we don't just fix HVAC, plumbing, and electrical systems.
Since 1979, we've been committed to delivering industry-leading solutions with honesty and precision.
Backed by cutting-edge technology and decades of expertise.
We treat every home like our home.
Ensuring peak performance, energy-efficient solutions, and reliability.
Because at Sky, good enough just doesn't fly.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a great sale. Friday through Sunday. Oregon State Fair and Expo Center. Exercise with low impact. Swim the entire year and stay in shape. Teach your kids to swim. Unwind and save thousands. Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool. Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa. Installation in 1 day only. New 2026 inventory. 18-month interest-free financing. Large selection of hot tubs and swim spas to choose from. Oregon State Fair and Expo Center. Free admission. Call 833-SPA-SALE.
You seen that life insurance thing I got in the mail?
It's over there.
The recycle bin. I sent for this.
You're buying life insurance now? Have you been to the grocery store lately? The last thing we need is another bill.
That's exactly why we need life insurance. It can help pay those bills. Funeral costs, too. Take a look at this. It costs pennies a day.
That's right. Rates for Colonial Penn Life Insurance start at $9.95 a month. That's 35 cents a day. And this is one bill you know will never go up. A lifetime rate lock guarantees it. Your rate is guaranteed, and so is your acceptance. That makes applying quick and easy. There are no medical questions, no physical exam. Since you can't be turned down, we don't ask about your health. Call for more information and your free gift today.
Call 1-800-253-3556 for free information and a free beneficiary planner. That's 1-800-253-3556. 1-800-253-3556.
Don't miss the best deals of the year during the Standard TV and Appliance Year-End Clearance Sale. Get unbeatable prices on open box and closeout refrigerators, washers, dishwashers, cooktops, mattresses, and more. Plus, take advantage of up to 48 months zero-interest financing. Hurry in. When they're gone, they're gone. Standard TV and Appliance. Best service, best selection, best people.
Welcome back. We continue to follow breaking news for you. A live look at an unfolding scene in East Portland. U.S. Border Patrol agents shot 2 individuals this afternoon. DHS says those officers were conducting a traffic stop on a Venezuelan man involved in a shooting in Portland who they believe has ties to Tren Aragua, the Venezuelan gang. They say when that individual saw the Border Patrol agents, he drove off, and the Border Patrol agent fired a defensive shot before being hit by that car. That is from the Department of Homeland Security. We've had crews on scene all afternoon. An unfolding scene on the left where the shooting happened at Southeast 102nd and Main, and on the right side, the scene at 146th and Burnside, where those 2 individuals drove about 2.5 miles after being shot. They have since been taken to the hospital. We are not sure of their condition. We are working to find out.
2 very active scenes about 2.5 miles apart from each other. I do want to read you a statement that Attorney General Dan Rayfield has just issued. He said, "We're deeply troubled by reports that 2 people were shot and injured in Portland today during the incident involving federal agents. We've been clear about concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland, and today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability."
Let's get right back to Christina Giardinelli really quickly at that scene at 146th and Burnside. Christina, very quickly, what's it like out there right now?
Yeah, you know, things are starting to calm down a little bit. A few people have left. I want to show you real quick what I wasn't able to show you earlier. The red truck that people have been talking about, that's the truck a lot of people have described driving in here. And we've also seen a lot of federal activity, FBI agents surrounding that truck. So we believe right now that is or may likely be the truck that drove here with the individual. You can see a FBI agent there walking. A lot of FBI agents have been going around the apartments, apartment to apartment, canvassing and talking to people. But as I mentioned, fewer bystanders right now on the scene. We'll continue monitoring, bringing you the latest. Back to you guys for now.
Okay, Christina, thank you. A lot has taken place in the past 3 hours or so. We will continue to monitor it. We are going to send it to World News Tonight with David Muir at 5:30, but we will break back in if any new developments unfold in the next half hour. And be sure to join us at 6 o'clock. We will be at a news conference with Mayor Wilson.
Certainly a lot of questions still out there. We do have good information from the Department of Homeland Security that they were conducting a traffic stop for immigration enforcement when they shot the individual they were trying to arrest at the scene on the left. They drove to the scene on your right about 2.5 miles away. We expect some clarity maybe from the mayor this evening.
We have several crews all around the city right now, and we'll have live reports from them coming up at 6 o'clock tonight.